Hi everyone. So I've got my email on the About page on this channel, and I read all the emails. I get a good amount every day. The emails vary from ideas for other videos to insider information from my secret inside sources to just general questions about like drawing or exercise. But I started to get fan art, which was basically art inspired by the discussions in the comments and in the videos on this channel, and that's really exciting to me. So this guy who only described himself as Jerk Douglas wrote to me with this drawing right here, which I love. First of all, the drawing is really good, like the body language and like the naturalness of it is great. This is one of the things I'm really bad at. My stuff is really stiff. And I always have that problem, but this is very natural. I love it. It would be great inked and colored. But so the title is, what if DC was written like Marvel is? And this is a parody, but the funny thing is, it's not that far off from reality. So we got Batman. It's a great drawing, by the way. And he's like, I think he's supposed to be kind of swishy, so he's like saying like, "Don't do crimes, boys." And you can say like, oh, that's just an over-the-top ridiculous parody. Like, no. That's literally what they did to Iceman. They turned him from, guy next door, kind of like college dude, then like, young. I think he got like an accounting degree, and he was trying to make it as an accountant. He's kind of flitting in between. But they didn't just turn him gay. They didn't just turn him bi. They turned him into a stereotype gay character from a 1980s sitcom. Someone actually gave me they named this 1980s sitcom, and they named the character, and then I got buried, in like a million comments. I couldn't forget it, but it was like, I'm trying to remember the sitcom. There was like an older guy who was on Mary Tyler Moore, and he had a neighbor whose name was like Gordon and Gordon would always like come into the room and be like, "Hello, guys." But like Gordon wasn't gay. He was always like dating girls because it's like the early 80s. But it's like, yeah, that's basically what they turned Iceman in. And then next to Batman in this fan art is Wonder Woman doing like classic, like they might as well just shave the side of her head and dye the rest of her hair blue, because she's like, and then I was like, I'm Wonder Woman? I'm like the queen of space and stuff? So this is really good parody because it hits all of these different of SJW writers in that they're going to not only make change established characters that they didn't create just to win points with people who don't even like comics, people who don't even read in one, but like the one that kills me is Wonder Woman, because another trope of SJW writers and editors, writers more specifically, is that they literally don't know the characters. I mean, we're talking like barely at all. So I can totally see like the two companies switching characters. DC's in charge of Marvel characters, Marvel is in charge of DC characters. And what they would do, they're like, just find some random person on Tumblr, which is literally what Marvel does now. They will just go find some random woman. So Marvel would probably say, I'm sure Marvel would say, all Amazons are like gold star lesbians for life. So they're like, who's the most gold star lesbian? And then they would just find some random person on like Tumblr or Twitter and just hand her the assignment. And then, like I said, Marvel, they're basically hirers and firers. They don't really edit, because editing is mean. So this random person, kind of like a Gabby Rivera type, would be like, what's Wonder Woman? She's like the queen of space or something? And then so there would just be these random references to like, non-existent parts of the Wonder Woman mythology that the character just straight up made up. So I think the idea of the two companies switching sides is very interesting, and probably is even worthy of multiple videos. But I was reading this Tom Finch Batman. It was a really good story. It was Batman versus Bane. I think it was issue 20. Tom King, David Finch on art. And it was this really intense fight. And two things happened that stuck out to me. I told my son, I go, if this was a Marvel comic, Bane Bane would be fighting Batman to marry him. So all the dialogue balloons where he's like, I'm gonna kill you. If it was Marvel, it would be like, marry me. The other thing is that Batman, and I'm still not clear on this because I haven't read all the Tom King Batman books, but he's kind of like speaking directly to his mom, kind of like in a dream state. I'm not sure what that is. The funny thing is you find out his mom's basically the narrator, and at the end, Batman tells his mom, he's like, yeah, you're wrong. I don't do it for those reasons. I do it because it's the right thing to do. So you had two things. That would never happen in a Marvel book. The straight white man would never like correct a woman. Now, if Batman was gay, his parents, of course, would automatically, they would either be like homophobes and like 80 years old for some reason, or they would be like just so cartoonishly supportive that they're just wearing like rainbow flags all the time. But I can totally see this. The great thing about parody is, well, number one, it's protected. That's why Saturday Night Live can say like basically anything and not get sued. But parody is really good for really honing in on the truth. So you exaggerate the truth to help identify it. The funny thing is that Marvel is so ridiculous right now that you barely, I mean, like I said, this swishy, fey, effeminate Batman, 1980s sitcom character Batman, is exactly what they're doing in Iceman right now. This, like, oh my God, I'm like a millennial or whatever, that type of thing they're doing with Wonder Woman. That's basically what they did, they did with Gabby Rivera and Kate Leth, who get handed Hellcat, and Chelsea Kane, who's not a millennial, she's I think my age, but they handed her. They just hand these characters to people who don't read or like comics, and they're just like Chelsea Kane is like, so she's like a Supergirl or whatever. Like, Chelsea Kane did not understand Mockingbird at all. She seemed to think that she was generic adventure girl, and that's all she understood about this character. It was really, really odd. I've actually talked about Kate Leth a couple of times. Her Hellcat lasted forever, and nobody was reading it. But that was really mysterious to me until my Marvel Insider pointed out that marketing is actually the people deciding books, when books are started, and then how long books last. So I think a lot of this is because marketing does look at things in the long game. So marketing is willing to have a really soft sales for a while to see if there is a market. So that's actually legitimate. But marketing is not choosing marketing is not choosing specific people to hire. It's not choosing to not edit books. So you know what? If if me or any competent person, any of the people at DC or Image or Dark Horse, IDW, I keep forgetting that IDW and Dark Horse are different companies. In my mind, they're kind of the same company. If you give it to anyone and you say, hey, marketing's in charge, they say we need a Hellcat. We're going to give it 2 years. They go, okay, great. We're going to try to find the best team and put it on there. What Marvel does is they hand it to some 22-year-old editor with dyed blue hair and the side of her head shaved, and who's just like, hey, can you take 5 minutes out of blasting cis white males on Twitter to like hire someone? And then she's like, oh my God, I'm so offended. And then she just hires like the first random freako. She's like, oh, you'll really stick it to the man. This company created by white males. And then they hire him, and there's no oversight. Captain Cummings does like a series of videos about like egregious and constant typos and editorial oversights and transposed pages and all this just silliness. Now, the funny thing is, Marvel used to do that, and they would fall over themselves apologizing. You could get a no prize. I have this issue of the official handbook of the Marvel Universe, and I guess they had a misprint on like an earlier issue. So they actually reprinted the misprinted pages in future issues. So, because this is supposed to be like an encyclopedia, so it's about getting the information right. The funny thing is, like, now Captain Cummings is a little salty, and he does like to troll people, but like, they don't just say like, you know, oh, good eye, true believer. Here's a no prize, empty envelope. That's what a no prize was. Like, they just feel like, the fans are so hostile. And then like Tom Brevoort was like, well, there's always been typos. There was typos in 1939 and there's typos in 2017. I mean, what's the difference between now and 1939? Don't you see the inescapable? By the way, Tom Brevoort is terrible at analogies. Oh, I've never seen someone so bad at analogies. He compared 1939 to 2017 and basically acted like technologically we were at the same point. And then he compared surface, literally just costume changes from the 1980s, like with Thor, Spider-Man, and Iron Man, to, you know, race bending, age bending, what else? Gender, Iron Man is now a 15-year-old black girl. Tell me that doesn't sound like parody. Tell me if you heard that 3 years ago, like, whatever. The funny thing is, I just remembered something, and I've actually got to wrap this video up short. But of course, any opposition to Riri is like, you hate women and black people. We get it. And I'm pretty sure they're going to reveal her to be autistic soon, because that's going to be another way to protect the character creatively and keep her away from criticism. I'm pretty sure that's coming. But they de-aged Tony Stark in the 90s. They made him like 14 or 15, and people hated it. It was reviled. And it never got like one eye round, like you're like, oh, remember that? Oh, that wasn't that bad. No, like that was one of the most hated storylines. It's kind of fallen down the memory hole. But talk to anyone who was like collecting in the 90s. Teen Tony Stark was a friggin' disaster. And I think they even did a cartoon based on it. Maybe they were told to do that to prep for the cartoon. I don't know. But people don't even like the idea of the guy who invented Iron Man and all the Iron Man stuff, the younger version of his same self wearing the armor. So, sorry, I got to wrap this one up quick. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and hit notifications. This is by Jerk Douglas. He's on Tumblr. Good guy. I really like this art. Tell me what you think about it. And I read all my emails. I'll have more videos up later today.